And these are the prints that James gave us when we were all working together at the Isle of Triumph. I know, how cool. What are you guys doing here? Well, while you're here, today we're talking to James William. That's right, he's an artist out of Nashville, Tennessee, and he is quite incredible. He was at, okay, see ya. Probably off to an art gallery, am I right? But we were able to hang out at the Barber Vintage Fest and check out his work and see some of his cool projects. So he's a builder, he's a painter, he's a fabricator, he does so many things, and so it was a lot of fun to talk to him. Oh, that's right, New York City. You want to talk about some power lines? Some power lines.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right.
Let's have a seat, sir.
All right. Get my old bones there.
Take it nice and slow. How the hell are you?
Good.
Doing well after this fine Vintage Fest?
Yeah, man, it's been a trip. Yeah. And it just ended super. Uh-oh. Hey, who's this? So, Beanie just come out from under the table there.
Didn't want to say hi.
Yeah, that's the Bean. So yeah, it's been really great. I just actually the guitar that I did with Taylor for this event,
Right.
with Triumph, just gave it to Mr. Barber up there, and he's going to put it
In the museum?
Yeah.
Yeah, me and Cody got to poke our heads into the museum, but it was so much that we're like, this is going to kill our schedule.
Yeah, that's the way Monica and I were too. I mean, and even I feel more strongly about it now after just going down there for a minute.
Yeah.
Because I'm like, yeah, you can't come in here for a minute.
You need like 2 days.
You need 2 days.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So how's Mr. Barber? Does he just look...
Oh, man, epic. You know, just
This
totally...
place is epic?
The place is epic. It's so together.
Yeah.
You know, and then he was just kind of like, you know, just kind of matter of fact.
Just chill dude.
Yeah, guy. You know, I mean, I don't do boundaries well. So if I'm excited about something or interested in somebody, there it is. You know?
Yeah.
I don't, you know, I can't hide it. And
Yeah.
I think he picked up on that. It was cool with it. You know, my enthusiasm for what he's done here.
Well, I appreciate your enthusiasm.
Yeah.
When even just like looking around at all the different spots, like everything has detail.
That's my little dog right there. She's not crazy about tiny people on wheels. Yeah.
A lot of wheels running around here.
Yeah, I know. We can't quite rein that in just yet, but that's all right.
So you were over at the Barber Museum. The Barber Park is what I was speaking to. That is fantastic. So much attention to detail. So as an artist, you go around any corner and you find another art installation.
Yeah, and it's and you know what, the thing about it is it's not one of my personal philosophies. I would have written you a shorter letter if I'd had more time. I didn't make that up, obviously, but sorry, I didn't mean to hit my mic here. But man, it's so easy to take that kind of thing too far. And I feel like that, I mean, like when we're looking around right here, you know, you could just be in this, you know, in the wilderness almost.
Yeah.
You know? It's very like fluid the way it all moves, and it just reveals itself. And I think the art around here is that way too. You know, but I mean, it's gigantic art. You know, giant spiders, you know, and stuff, and women in ponds
in the lake.
But it's like just enough.
It's just subtle enough that you're not being hit on the head with it.
Right.
But then you see it, you're like, well, that's fucking big.
Yeah. And it's huge.
Yeah.
But the
place
space
is
is
so
so
big.
huge that, you know.
Well, I even like you go up the path right here, and then you're looking at the track. That even the pavers they chose.
Yeah.
It's all intentional.
Yeah. Yeah. It's very.
I'm not certain about the blow up church out there though.
Well, I think that's probably a statement about the fragility of our institutions.
Oh, when you say it like that.
So he's probably looking at it like, yeah, look, we can put a fake thing up here. Yeah.
So you came together, you did the work for the guitar cases.
Yes. Yeah. That started. So I did work last year for Gentleman's Ride.
Okay.
Yeah, so they had a custom guitar and a custom bike done at Gibson, and you know I was an artist in resident at Gibson years ago, and so they approached me about doing a custom case for that setup, and then that led to doing cases for the awards for the fundraisers as well. So one of those cases was here this weekend. I
think we shot it in the bike reveal. Yeah, that was great.
And then this year for this event, I've been working with Taylor Guitars, and actually this guitar and case, that guitar that's sitting right there, and this case, those are being auctioned off in 2 weeks in Nashville. Proceeds are going to benefit Guitars for Vets.
Cool.
And so what they're doing is they're taking the funds from that and they're going to buy instruments for vets, but also a year's guitar lessons. And that's a really cool thing. And so in a couple of weeks, we're doing, we're doing an event. But
well, so then that's a big piece of your art is guitars, guitar cases.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, I see an immaculate bike over here. I see Mr. Poe.
Yeah. Yeah, that bike was so in New York. Well, so in New York City, I mean, my career really had shifted to where it's just a painter. And so I was always tinkering with weird stuff. I was working on motorcycles, I was working on guitars, but nobody really wanted me doing that. Especially an art dealer. He's like, "Oh, you're going to ruin your career," So
what were they wanting? What was
just my paintings? I was known for my paintings in New York City. And old school, like an old school painter, postmodern impressionist. New York Times called me, and I was on a cover of Art and Antiques and American Art Collector.
Whoa.
So I had this path that was pretty clear, and I literally, would started building the bikes by accident because I was riding a Triumph Thruxton to my studio every day just to make it easier to get to, and I laid it down one time and I got my insurance check and I'm like, well, wait a minute, if I just make that part, I can just spend this money.
Yeah.
And so and then next thing you know, I got this crazy looking bike. And then somebody that had been collecting my paintings approached me about doing a custom bike. And I was like, what are you talking about? I don't know how to build a motorcycle. They're like, dude, look at your motorcycle. And I'm like, yeah, but that's an accident. And so that led to my first, like 2 days after that conversation, a flatbed trailer showed up at my studio with an American Express gold card and envelope. Said, hey, come on, you can do this. So I did,
Said, okay, I'll do that,
Built, just crazy stuff to that bike, did another bike, and then I kind of wanted to do just a ground up exploration of a bike, and that's that. So that bike literally started with a tank, and then the frame, and everything else just sort of was put together, and I built it for Edgar Allan Poe. This, believe it or not, loops back to the beginning of when you asked me about selling my art dealer and all these people. So actually Monica, showed up at my studio one day, and my wife, she's like, "Oh no, you're building another motorcycle?"
Yeah.
And I'm like, "Oh, I'm building it for somebody." And that was it. That was all. And then it's just, "Oh, okay." Like it's a commission.
And you go,
and so then I saw her, a while later. She's like, "Man, that thing's looking great. Who's it for?" And I was like, "Edgar Allan Poe." She's like, he's dead, right? And I'm like, "Oh." So underneath the seat. Have you seen under the seat?
I have not.
Yeah, there's a message underneath the seat to my darling bride. It says, it's a portrait of Poe and says nevermore. But so then, and that's why I think I got jinxed because I said nevermore. I didn't touch another motorcycle for 10 years, right? And I sold off my daily riders in New York. I was just down in Nashville, working on guitars, doing custom guitars, doing all this stuff, working with Gibson, working with all these guitar companies. And somebody was just begging me to do a custom bike for them. And one thing led to another. I started working on another bike. And the second I did it, boom, motorcycles everywhere again. And shortly after that, Edgar was stolen.
Out of your shop?
Well, yeah. So I was working on this new bike. I had a shop connected to my shop, down to kind of just a few hundred yards away.
This is Nashville.
Yeah. And so I was working on the modern bike down there, and Edgar just lives in my studio in Nashville. And so I'm like, well, Monica's out of town, so I thought I'll just swap them, and I'll work here because I don't like working because we live in the studio when we're in town. And so I was working on the new bike, and these guys showed up down at the other studio, I think to steal the new bike, but wound up accidentally stealing this bike. And so then once they realized what they'd stole, and they're like, it's like, you can't, what are you going to do with that thing? You can't sell that. And I mean, it's, you know, it's been in like Billy Gibbons' video. Everybody knew, you know, a lot of people were posting about it.
Yeah.
Triumph sent me a new motorcycle, you know, when they heard it was stolen. So it's not like you're going to sell it. And then I got it back. They tried to sell it back to me.
Like as a
You know, a guy called
ransom?
me up, said, it's mine. I bought it fair and square at auction. You know, all I want's my money back. And I'm like, how much? And he's like, well, first my wife elbowed me in the back, you know, because I think I was, wait a minute. Yeah. I could agree, okay. And she calmed me down, you know. And I said, okay, what do you want? He's like, 12,000. I'm like, how you want it, cash or check?
Yeah.
He's like, what? Cash money. I'm like, I happen to have that much cash money on me right now in my studio.
Yeah.
What's your address? He gave me his address.
He's a sharp guy.
Cops went.
What a ding dong. So he was just trying to play it off that he had bought it secondhand.
He bought it, told me he paid $12,000 for it at auction. The cops told me he did buy it at auction, but for $6,000. And he thinks that, you know, off the record, yeah, I'm just on a podcast.
Hey.
Thinks an auction house was involved, tow company was involved, DMV, titling it super fast.
I imagine so. Like, I don't know what the statistic is on when things are stolen, but it's like generally it's from somebody that knows. Like they knew the bike was there, they knew whatever. Yeah.
Well, again, I think what happened. The guys, you know, they weren't that bright. People that stole it because it's two doors into my building. Big metal door with a padlock on it,
yeah.
And then a metal door inside. And so when I first got there, I'd been home for Thanksgiving. I came back and somebody wanted to see the bike. Somebody wanted to see that bike. I'm like, oh yeah, it's down at my other place. So we walked down there. When I got down there, the lock was cut. And I'm like, uh-oh, it's gone. And then I opened the door, and the inside door was still locked. So I'm like, oh, whew, they gave up. They didn't try the inside metal door. So I got my key out, opened it up, and there was nothing left in there, but there was a black raven feather from inside the bag laying on the floor.
Oh, my.
And so... Oh,
spooky.
So one one part of it, one level I was looking at it like that's somebody. I mean, I don't think I have any enemies. Maybe, right. I mean, we all got somebody out there who like to shank us, but I thought that's a fuck you right there.
Yeah,
that's somebody that knows me. Yeah, here you just need it's where you're clever. In the meantime, it's back in there.
Yeah.
So I won that fight. Yeah. But yeah, it was gone. And so then when I went to kind of put everything together and call the cops, the lock that was cut unlocked. Yeah. So we figured they had keys.
Oh.
They had somehow had keys, somehow through the building, or somebody that had worked there before, or somebody knew I had stuff down there. And so you know, they just weren't the brightest. Because somebody probably said, we better make it look like a break-in. Yeah. And they went back and the guy just cut the lock, but he forgot to relock it before he cut it. So he cut and unlocked.
Oh, wow.
So it's kind of like a, you know, like I said.
That's interesting.
Not the brightest guys. But anyway, I got it back. And this is the first time it's really been out of the studio since then. I haven't really gotten it running again or anything. I mean, basically wiped it off. It
looks good.
Yeah, the key is knocked out on the other side and it's hot wired.
Oh, okay.
But I've got the replacement for it in that bag up front. So, yeah. Yeah.
When was the last time it rode?
Right before it was stolen.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's only got. I mean, since I built it, it's probably only got 400 or 500 miles on it.
Yeah.
Not much, you know.
Yeah.
Because I've always had. I mean, that was always just it's just like a piece of sculpture to me, you know. Sort of.
Motorcycles is art.
Yeah.
So.
And it was a victory for me to do it, you know, because again, like we were talking about, less is more kind of thing.
Yeah.
I mean, see that tank behind you?
Yeah.
So I could paint a motorcycle tank like that, right? So if you can paint a motorcycle tank like that,
yeah,
but you decide to paint it with just that simple of a paint, nobody's ever going to look at that motorcycle tank over there and go like, "Wow, this guy can paint."
Yeah.
So to me, it was like, you know, it's just holding back, doing what was right for the thing instead of
not going over the top.
Out.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, I think you chose the right balance.
Yeah. So.
Well, and sometimes it's like, you know, everything in moderation, even moderation.
Right. Right. Oh. Marlon Brando just.
He goes, "It's time to go home."
Yeah.
Well, so then this is your first Isle of Triumph Fest.
Yeah.
You got your art out here on display. What's next on your docket?
Well, 2 weeks I've got a thing in Nashville where they're with Taylor guitars where they're auctioning off this instrument, you know, and then after that I'm not really sure what my next. It's good. I'm in a bit of a transition right now. I'm you know, that's the way it is with me. I kind of start getting my strategy together for what I'm going to attack, you know. So, like as you can see, I do custom guitars. They're very time intensive. I usually tend to do them in like a chunk, you know. Like I'll do 4 custom guitars.
Oh, okay.
Work with a builder, you know. I work with like Lucky Dog Guitars, or E.B. Rister, or Gibson, or Taylor, or who knows who, and get a few guitars done. I think maybe this year is the year that I do a few paintings. You know, do a few paintings on canvas.
Full circle.
Yeah. I think it might be time.
So it was previously it was the New York.
Yeah, I was known for the New York stuff, and then in Nashville, I have been doing some of my traditional painting in Nashville. It's been a few years.
Yeah,
but so in New York, I was kind of known for my water towers. You know, if there was a water tower in my painting, it was more desirable. And in Nashville, it's power lines.
Oh.
I like to paint power lines with the sky kind of bleeding through them. People think I don't know. Some people think I'm painting power lines. I'm really painting, you know, making a statement about the folly of man. You know, like this beautiful sky and stringing all this shit over. But the other thing, it's true with water towers and it's true with power lines. You don't notice them. Yeah. They become invisible until you notice them.
And they're everywhere.
And then once you notice them, they're everywhere. Yeah. You can't unnotice them. That's it. So yeah. But I happen to really like them. Yeah. So yeah. So I think that's probably what's going to happen. Yeah.
Well, I mean, I know we're new acquaintances here.
In a way, but yeah.
In a way.
Well, see, it's funny that I knew you.
That's true.
I mean, I knew there was
There's something.
Yeah, I knew there was something.
We put it together.
Yeah.
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 So we'll be hanging out again at a time and place that we cannot discuss right now. But I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
Me too.
And I hope that we can do this again and have another conversation.
Oh yeah, sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. Absolutely. Yeah, you should come by the studio.
I'd love that.
Yeah, the secret. They call it it's a secret studio.
Yeah, or the tired to get your shit stolen.
Yeah, or the brick submarine. Some people call it.
Okay.
It's just like a little wedge of 3 floors of, you know, inside of my noodle. Yeah.
I'm here for it.
Yeah,
All
it's
right,
weird stuff. Yeah.
Well, thanks for sharing with us today.
Man. Yeah.
And I'll be seeing you again soon.
All right, cool, brother.
All right.
Thank you.